Namaste and good morning, everyone. Let's start our Tuesday Mahabharata class with the prayers. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhu Bhavaswaha, Tat Savitra Varenayam, Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, Dhiyo Yo Naha, Prachodayat. Asto Ma Satkamya, Tamso Ma Jyotirgamya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamya. Om Sahna Vavtu Sahna Bhunaktu Saviryam Karva Vahi Tejasvi Navadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let's open our books. I'm going to start with the chapter number 4 in this section and page number 155. And this is where the Bhagavad Gita is starting. So we know that both the armies, Kauravas and Pandavas armies, they are ready to fight. And Arjuna asked Lord Krishna to bring the chariot in the middle of the two horses. And Lord Krishna saw that he was very perturbed. He didn't want to wage the war. He wanted to run away. So then Lord Krishna, this is like a second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where he started talking to Arjuna, giving him some knowledge. So sensing that Arjuna was calmer, Krishna paused. The Pandav did not tremble anymore, because we know that he was trembling. He admitted that he's trembling. His mind is swirling. Arjuna asked, Krishna, who is the wise man? What is he like? How does the man of Brahma speak? How does he sit or walk? Okay, because Lord Krishna started talking about what a wise person is. Wise person does not grieve. Wise person has a control over the mind and the senses and the situation also. So Krishna threw back his beautiful head and laughed. When a man knows the bliss of the Atma, his soul, all the cravings and torments of his heart vanish. And when his spirit is absorbed in itself, perfectly satisfied, he is wise, illumined. Arjuna saw Krishna exalted, his eyes shining. The heaviest sorrow doesn't perturb him, nor does the most pleasant desire move him. When lust, fear, and rage have left him, he is a Brahm Rishi. The bonds of his body are broken. He is enlightened. He who is beyond affection, who does not rejoice or grieve when he is fortunate or unfortunate, but is imperturbable. He is an illumined one. As the tortoise draws in its legs, the rishi withdraws his senses. Arjun, the abstinent run away from what they desire, but desire does not leave them. Only the vision of God removes desire itself. Even a man who knows the way can be dragged from it, because the senses are powerful and wild, but he who tames the senses, collects his mind in serenity, fixes it on me, he is illumined. Desire springs from attachment to the objects of the senses. Anger springs from desire, confusion from anger, and from confusion, forgetfulness. When he forgets the lessons of experience, a man loses his discrimination, then he is destroyed. And we know that discrimination means when we know what is right, what is wrong, what is temporary, what is permanent, that is called discrimination. In Sanskrit, it's called vivek. But when a man's mind is disciplined, his spirit is pure. In purity, there is peace, and in peace, sorrow ends. The intelligence of a quiet man is established in the peace of the Atma, his immortal soul. What is night for most men is when the quiet man is awake. And when the world is awake and abusal, is a night for the sage who sees. Arjun floated above the field of Kurukshetra, carried by Krishn's spiraling song. The currents of that song were the tides of time. The ages rolled around him in legendary magnificence. Just the silver umbilicus of the Gita held him secure. The dark charioteer sang on. When a man becomes like the ocean, perfectly calm, when his desires come to him like water to the ocean and never move him, then he comes to peace. When a man works in the world without any desire, he comes to peace. And this peace is the ocean of the soul, the divine Brahman. Once a man comes into it, he does not return to delusion. At the hour of his death, he is alive in that eternal enlightenment. He attains the bliss of God. Darkness and doubt clutched at Arjun once more. Evil would not succumb tamely to Krishna in the subtle battle he waged against it. This battle would decide the outcome of Arjun's war, and those of 1,000 more to be fought on the strangest fields by unborn heroes in impossible futures long before they were joined. Primordial evil battled dark Krishna for Arjun's soul, the soul of that rarest of men, an evolved disciple on the verge of final grace. His voice full of despair, Arjun cried, Krishna, you say the way of the mind is finer than the way of action. Why then do you goad me into this savagery? You bewildered me now, and I am lost. Show me one straight path by which I can be free. Though evil attacked his heart, Krishna spoke quietly. The dual path has been taught in it since the world began. The way of Gyan, knowledge, for men of contemplation, for men of action, the way of Karam, of deeds, of battles. You do not become free by doing nothing, by abstaining from Karam. You do not become perfect. He who does nothing but broods over his desires is no sage. He is a hypocrite. Do the work you are born to, for without working, you cannot sustain even your body. Let war be your worship, Arjun. The dream closed around Arjun. He was a time traveler again. Krishna's song was his Viman. His bright craft was rocked by the thunder of ages, buffeted by the distant mysteries of violence and terror, by awesome miracles. The ship of light was proof against them all. Krishna's song withstood the last tests of time. In the beginning, God made men, each with his own nature and dharma. He said, by doing this, you will prosper. The work of your nature will yield the fruit of your desires. By doing your natural dharma, you worship the gods, and they nurture you. By working unattached, you come to immortal bliss. Such karam is the ritual that maintains the very earth. Look at me, Arjun. I am not bound by any karam in all the worlds, nor is there anything in them that isn't already mine. Yet I am always working. Only the deluded man thinks I am the doer. Everything is done by the guns, the essences of nature at their eternal play. Those who go astray become attached to their karam. They begin to take the gunas for the soul. But no wise man should unsettle the minds of those who don't see whole. Because work must go on, always, or the worlds fall into anarchy. Arjun was entranced again as the river of grace flowed from the blue god. Every creature can only follow its innate prakriti. Even the wisest man lives by his own nature. What can repression accomplish, Arjun? It is always better to do one's own dharma, however imperfectly, than the dharma of another. Even immaculately, it is better to die in one's own law, or to live by an alien law is perilous. Like a child, Arjun asked, but what makes a man sin? Even against his own will, helplessly, Krishna. Rage and lust, ravening deadly the enemies. Why the intellect itself deluded, feeds the fires to these two. Lust veils the soul as smoke does a fire, as dust does a clear mirror. To pass beyond lust, you must transcend the intellect. Okay? See, that's why we study the scriptures, to transcend the intellect. For powerful are the senses. Greater than they are is the mind. More potent than the mind is the intellect, but greater than intellect is the Atma who sets you free. Krishna's eyes were far away from Kurukshetra. Why from the age? Then smiling, he said coolly, I taught this yoga to Vivasta once. Vivasta gave it to Manu. Manu taught it to Ikshvaku. Handed down the generations, the Raj Rishis all knew it. Until the great yoga was lost in the world in a forgotten time. When darkness came, Arjun, today on this chosen field, hear the deathless secret from me. But Arjun looked at him incredulously. He cried, Vivasta, he died long before you were born. How did you teach Vivasta the yoga? Krishna laughed. My past lives and yours as well are many, more than you dream. Only I remember them all, and you remember none. I am not born into this world, but only seem to be, and I am master of my Prakriti, my immortal nature, and not its subject. Whenever evil dominates the world, I send myself forth into it to protect the good. Who else have they? To destroy the evil, who else will redeem them? To establish dharma, I come again and again from age to age. The man who knows me is never born again. When he leaves his body, he comes to me, absorbed in me. He is delivered from lust, anger, and fear. He is burned pure in the fire of my being. I become his home. All men come to me at last, and I deliver them all. Whatever path a man walks, it leads finally to me. I am not bound by karma, and neither are those who know me. So, like the ancients who worked for moksha, you must also fight. The way of karma is not easy, Arjun, and even Maharishis are perplexed about action and inaction. Only the realized yogin sees restlessness in action and repose to deeds. When he acts, he remains poised in the serenity of the Atma. He has no attachment to the fruit of his actions. Contented in the Atma itself, he acts and beyond karma. He is satisfied with whatever comes to him by chance. He is free from envy, untouched by success and failure. He acts and is not bound by what he does. All his work is a sacrifice, a ritual of worship. His enlightened heart beats as one with Brahm, the Holy Spirit. For him, all things are Brahm. The sacrifice, the oblation, the sacrificer, and the fire of Yajna, they are all one and they are the Brahm. And he who offers no worship, this world is not for him. Then how shall any other world be his? When he heard the tone in which Krishna said this, another dread seized Arjun, who had laid down the Gandiv and said he would not fight. Worship, the Dark One went on quietly, looking out at the motionless armies, is greater than any material sacrifice. And all worship ends inexorably in Brahm. Let the rishis of wisdom and vision be your masters. Learn from them by serving them, by worshipping and questioning them. As fire does wood, wisdom burns karma to ashes. Nothing on earth is as pure as wisdom. On the ship of wisdom, the worst sinners cross over the sea of evil. He who has seen the Atma, slowly but inexorably, peace comes to him. Take up the sword of discernment, Arjun. Cut away the doubt that lurks in your heart. Now Arjun looked into the Lord's face and saw his black eyes alight with compassion. The Pandav said, Krishna, first you say renunciation is the way, burning karma with wisdom. Then you say that opposite, that karma is the way. Tell me, which is the true path? Both, said Krishna, lead to freedom. But yours is the way of karma. You are not greedy for kingdom or its power. That is half your battle already won. You will be freed easily. Krishna smiled, the crow's feet around his eyes cracking deep. But Arjun, the wise do not speak of the ways of wisdom and action as being separate. Only the ignorant do. You cannot renounce action without knowing what it is. Only he who engages in karma knows its inner emptiness. Purified, he realizes this still Brahm. In detachment, he occupies the senses with the objects of sense, but not himself. He is like a lotus leaf, resting on water, but not wetted by water. The yogin does not act out of desire, but to make himself pure, to make himself wise. In the city of 9 gates, the body, only he shall have peace who has mastered his nature by giving into it perfectly, without desire, renouncing whatever he does, even as he does it. He knows the soul does not act, nor is it acted upon, but just nature's guns. Such a man's sins are cut away from him. He reaches the Brahm, from where there is no return. His wisdom illumines the immortal self. When the soul's light ends your darkness, that light shines forth from you, the Brahm revealed, splendid as a sun. The enlightened man sees all creation equally. He knows pleasures that spring outside the self are ephemeral, and they inevitably bring sorrow. He has no use for these. He is master of the surge in his blood of lust, of anger. He finds his joy within himself, his light within himself, in his own soul. He comes to Brahma Nirvana, said the blue god who had come to cleanse the world. Whose sins are put out, whose doubts are dispelled, to whom the welfare of every creature is his joy, finds Brahma Nirvana. The austere man, set free from lust, anger, and fear, is rooted in enlightenment. He comes to me, who enjoys all karma and all austerity. I am Lord of the worlds and a friend to all men, and he finds Brahma Nirvana. Continuation of Gita in the next chapter. Krishna's song, the river of holy light, flowed through Arjun and it made him see. He was borne away from Kurukshetra into another realms. It even seemed to the Pandav that the war, why all his life, was a pretext to be out there, now in his chariot with Krishna, and to hear his Gita. It was an hour of revelations, when ends more profound than he could imagine were achieved. Krishna was a sacred flame beside him. The Dark One said, he who works serenely with no desire for the fruits of what he does, success or failure, he is the sannyasi, not he who lights no lamp on this earth. Arjuna, what men call yoga is sannyas, no less. For no man becomes a yogi until he renounces his selfishness. Karam is the way of the rishi who wants to attain yoga, to yoke himself to the eternal. Once he attains to that union, he is at peace. The warrior's way is his own will. The will alone is the soul's dearest friend, and it is the Atma's worst enemy. The restrained man's will is his soul's friend, but the self-indulgent man's will is his enemy. The rishi is absorbed in the Atma. He is a master of his will. He is unchanging. Arjun, the light of a lamp does not flicker in a windless place. He who has realized the Brahm never wanders again from the deepest truth of his being. When his mind is yoked to his soul, set free from craving, the yogi is united with the Brahm. Krishna sent his peace to invade the Pandav. When you gain the Atma, you know there is nothing left to achieve. Then no sorrow will move you. The yogi is disconnected from pain. He is one with Brahma. The body, the mind, and the life are pure. The light shines through clearly. Infinite bliss is as natural as breathing to that man. The Atma is plain to him in all beings, in all things, and everywhere. Tears filled Arjun's eyes and ran down his face. Krishna said, "He who sees me everywhere, I am with him, and he is with me forever. The perfect man sees all things in the image of his own self equally." Another spasm of anxiety struck Arjun. He said, "Krishna, it is hard to see all things equally. The mind is fickle, prone to terror. It is impetuous, strong, obstinate, and so are its passions. It is simpler to tame the wind." Krishna laughed again. "Who said yoga is easy to achieve? Remember, it is the last achievement, beyond which there is no other. Yet it is not impossible, I tell you. You can attain it." But Arjun wanted to know, "Krishna, where does he go who believes but cannot control himself? Is he like a cloud in the sky with no support anywhere? Does he fall forever?" The Pandav's face was pale. "Krishna, doubt grips my heart like an evil spirit." Krishna spoke like the sun now, radiating light. "Not in this world or the next does such a believer perish. A man who seeks Brahma never comes to a bad end. The Bhagat who falls away from yoga is reborn into the homes of the pure and the prosperous of kings or into a family of yogis. The second birth is the rarer. From there again, the soul treads the way towards enlightenment. Inexorably, the seeker's belief takes him on. Arjun, the man who worships me, to me he is the brightest yogi, more precious than the tapasvi, the jnani, or the man of karam. The man of bhakti is dearest to me." Like a temple bell calling him out of sorrow and futility, Krishna's words rang in the morning. When Arjun looked into his Sarthi's black eyes, he saw such love in them. He smiled wanly at the blue god, as if he had awoken from a nightmare to find the sun risen and daylight in the world. Krishna let his song taper into a silence full of mercy, which enveloped his warrior in a deep respite. Arjun felt his fear recede. The avatar gathered himself within his resonant stillness. As always, his battles were only beginning, and he was the eternal seeker. He knew that Arjun he could save from his crisis of courage, but who would save Krishna from his long aloneness from himself? Who would redeem him? But then deep destiny was upon him. He knew his Gita would change the very heart of the dreaming, myth-making earth. And it would change him as well in some incalculable way. It was as if with his song to Arjun, the epic of man was begun again, mutant. Vision washed over Krishna. He saw his words percolate through Arjun into the seeds of unborn generations, waiting to metamorphose, to transform the nature of mythic and fabulous time, the earth's legendary heart. From then, his song redefined all the paths to freedom, all the images of the future, bodies of legend, the races of men, their nations, histories, wars, their every ordeal, and more than anything else, death and pride. Krishna's song flowed again, unknown, electable. Listen, Arjun, to how in yoga, with your mind devoted to me, you will know me. Then there will be nothing left to know. Among a million men in the world, perhaps one seeks perfection. Of a million such who do, each by his chosen path, perhaps one truly knows me. Arjun, you know me, don't you? Otherwise, they would not be out here together. My nature is made of earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intellect, and ego. 8 aspects. But this is only my gross nature. My other aspect is the soul, and the world is founded upon it. It is the seed and the end of all things. I am the cause of everything, no other. Like pearls on a string, the worlds are strung on me. Kaunteya, I am the essence of the waters, the light of the sun and the moon. I am Om and the Vedas, the Shruti of the Mandlas and the manhood in man. I am the sacred smell of the earth and the brightness of fire. I am the life of all lives, the purity of the sage, the wisdom of the wise, the luster of the illustrious, the might of the mighty, and all creatures I am of Sattva, Rajas, or Tamas. Clouds had gathered in the sky, I would rain on Kurukshetra today. Great Kshatriya's blood and common soldiers' blood would mingle with rainwater and flow in red streams for a while. In scarlet rivers, if Krishna had his way, before the earth absorbed it all, and what remained was dried by the wind, and the sun is brown patches of violent memory. It is the three gunas that delude. Arjun, all this maya of life and death is because of them. Who makes me this sanctuary safely crosses the ocean of the world, the sea of sansar. Demons, evil ones, do not seek refuge in me yet. The virtuous that worship me, my bhagats, are four kinds. The man in trouble, the seeker after knowledge, the seeker after happiness, and the man of discrimination. The discerning man is dearest to me. Why he and I are one. Unlike the others, he comes to me after many lives. Having realized that I am all there is, he is the rarest of the rare, the Mahatma, the great soul. Minds that are full of desire worship the devas with rituals. I give them what their hearts want. I make their faith fruitful, whatever forms it takes. Those who worship the devas go to the devas, but my bhagat comes to me. Those who are confused think of me as my manifestations. They do not know my transcendent nature. Unborn, changeless, and supreme. Arjuna, I know all the beings, those alive now, those of the past, and all those yet to be. But who knows me? Only the illumined who have died to sin. Those who are freed from duality's delusions find sanctuary in me and are saved from age and death. They know the Atma and Brahm and all about Karam. They know that I rule both this world and the next, and they come to me when they die. Arjun said, what is Brahma, Krishna? What is Atma? And what is Karam? Which is the domain of the elements and which that of the gods? How can a man know you as he dies? Brahm is the imperishable. Brahm alive in the individual being is Atma, the soul. The Karam is the force of creation. He that thinks of me as he dies certainly comes to me. Indeed, whatever a man thinks of as he dies, he attains to that. Absorbed in the final thought forever. He who says Om as he dies, thinking of me, he attains the absolute. Brahm, the seer, the ancient, the subtlest, the supporter beyond darkness. Those who come to me, Arjun, never return to impermanence, to the places of sorrow. They have reached the final perfection. They are not born again. From Brahma Lok down, all the worlds are subject to rebirth. But he who reaches me never comes back. So always make sure you know in your mind Brahma and Brahma. Brahma is absolute. Brahma is just creator. Creative force of Brahma is Brahma. Okay, so from Brahma Lok, we come back again. That is not eternal. Continuation of Bhagavad Gita, next chapter. Arjun saw how Krishna shone between the two armies. A still blue flame, unearthly, in perfect calm, the dark one sang his Gita. He who knows the day of Brahma is 1,000 ages, and 1,000 ages are his night. He knows day and night. At daybreak, all the hidden lives come forth to be born. At twilight, they dissolve again into the dormant seed of life, and again, helplessly, the same lives stream forth once more at dawn of Brahma's next day. There's a difference between the earth days and night and Brahma's days and night. This is what he's trying to tell us. But beyond this being and return, beyond the day and the night, there is another unmanifest eternal being who does not perish when other lives do. Now he's talking about Brahma. He is not born with Brahma's day, nor dies with Brahma's night. Those who reach him do not return. He is my abode. He pervades all this birth and death. He can be reached by bhakti. So with bhakti, with devotion, we reach to Brahma. Fire, light, day, the bright half of the moon, the 6 months of the northern sun. At these times, the yogis of illumination go to the Brahma. Smoke, night, the dark half of the moon, the 6 months of the southern sun. These are when the yogis obtain the lunar light of Pitrilok, the world of the mains, and they return to birth. Light and dark are the primitive and enduring paths of this world. By one, the yogis goes and never comes back. By the other, he returns. Arjuna did not tremble anymore, but listened raptly to his Sarthis Gita. Krishna said, Arjun, my song contains the secrets of knowledge and wisdom. It will set you free. This is the highest knowledge, easy, imperishable, and known directly. It is my way, the way of the avatar. I pervade the universe with my spirit. All things abide in me, but not I in them. This is my mystery. As the tameless air that moves everywhere abides in cosmic ether, the Akash, so too existence dwells in me. When the ages have made their round, every creature is gathered back into the seed that I am. When the next creation dawns, I send them forth again, helpless, bound in my Maya. I, the Lord of Maya, send the multitudes forth and gather them back into my being. The ignorant pass by this human form of mine, of me. They know nothing. The enlightened ones, the great souls that know me, worship me with an unwavering mind and with the right of wisdom. They know who I am, that I am the source undying. I am the ritual, I am the sacrifice, I am the ancestral oblation, I am the herb that heals, I am the holy mantra, I am the melted butter, I am the fire, Arjun, I am the burnt offering. I am this world's father, its mother, its supporter, and its grandsire too. I am the end of all knowledge, the purifier. I am Om, I am Rik, Sam, and Yajur, whispered Krishna, humming to a spellbound Arjun. The goal, the upholder, the Lord, the witness, the abode, the sanctuary, and the friend am I. I am origin and dissolution, the ground, the refuge, and the immortal seed. Worship me. I am the heat of the sun. I withhold and send down the rain. Deathlessness I am, and death manifest I, and the hidden germ of life. Worshippers of the Vedas, drinkers of Som, stray from the path. They reach Indra's realm and enjoy the pleasures of the Devas. However, they are transients in heaven, and when their punya is exhausted, they are born again into the world of men. But those who worship me, I secure what they have and bring them what they do not. Anyway, the worshippers of the Vedas and the Devas worship only me, for I am all the gods and the Vedas as well. Those who worship the Devas go to them. Those who worship the sires go to the Pitris, and to the spirits go those who worship Hoots and Prets, and my Bhagats surely come to me. Every offering made with love, I receive with joy. A leaf, a flower, a fruit, and a palmful of water. Whatever you eat or sacrifice, whatever you do, offer it to me, Pandav. I dwell in all creatures. None is hateful to me, none special. But those who worship me, they are in me surely, and I in them. Let even the most evil man but worship me, and I will be with him. Swiftly he will become a Muni and come to peace. Arjuna, know one thing for sure. Those who worship me will never perish. Let them be rich or poor, let them be men or women, let them be anyone. My Bhagats reach the final century. Krishan's eyes twinkled at his friend. How much more should devoted Kshatriyas worship me in this impermanent, sorrowful world? Arjun was startled in his absorption. The song of peace snatched at his mind. Now the Pandav hung on the dark one's every word. He was convinced he must fight, and he did not know if he would see the light of another day. Fix your heart on me, said Krishna. Be devoted to me, love me, and to me you shall come in life and in death. Arjun, listen. Now that you have a mind to, not the Devas or the Maharishis know my beginning, I am their source. From me came the Saptarishi and the four Manus, and from them all these generations of men. I am the origin, and so the sages worship me. I give them fixity of understanding. I light the lamps of their wisdom, dispel the ignorant dark. Arjun said, Krishna, you are the Brahm, first of all the gods, unborn, pervasive. Narad, Asit, Deval, Vyas, all the rishis say as much. And now I hear it from your own lips, and I believe it all. Not the Devas or the Asurs know your manifestations, only you know yourself. So tell me, on which of your forms shall I meditate? Tell me, Krishna, your words are like Amrit to me. Krishna said, hear my divine forms, but only some of them, because to all my forms there is no end. I am the Atma in every being, their soul. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of everything that ever is. Of Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of lamps, I am the sun. Of planets, the moon. Marich of the Maruts. Of Vedas, I am the Sam. Indra of the Devas. Of senses, I am mind. Consciousness in the living. Of Rudras, I am Shankar. Kuber of the Yaksha. Of Vasus, I am Agni. Meru of the mountain peaks. Of priests, I am Brihaspati. Sakand of the generals. Of waters, I am the ocean. Brigu among the rishis. Of speech, I am Om, Jap of the offerings, and of ranges, the Himalaya. Of trees, I am the Ashwatha, Narad of the seers. Of Gandharvas, I am Chitrath, Kapil among the perfect. Of horses, I am the Uchashus, nectar born, Eravat of the elephants. Of weapons, I am the Vajra, Kamdhenu among cows. Of lovers, I am Kam, Vasuki among serpents. Of Nags, I am Anant, Varun among the marine beings. Of the males, I am the Aryama, Yam among the judges. Of Titans, I am Parlad. I am time of measures. Of beasts, I am the lion. Garud among birds. Of purifiers, I am the wind. Ram among Kshatriyas. Of fish, I am the whale. Ganga of rivers. Of creations, I am the beginning, the end, and the middle, Arjun. Of sciences, I am the science of the spirit, the dialectic of debates. I am death that devours everything, and the source of all that is yet to come. Fame, I am among the feminine beings, and prosperity, speech, memory, intelligence, firmness, and patience too. Of hymns, I am a Brihat Saman, the Gayatri of mantras, Margashirsh of the months, of seasons, I am spring. I am the dice play of the deceivers. I am the splendor of the splendid. Karam am I on the punya of the good. Krishna smiled. Of the Vrishnis, I am Krishna. Arjun of the Pandavas. Of the Munis, I am Vyas. Oceans among poets. Of kings, I am their scepter. The policy of the conquerors. Of secrets, I am the silence. Their wisdom of those that know. And more, I am the seed of all beings, for nothing which exists without me. But what do you want to know all this for? There is no end to me, my friend. I support the universe with an atom of myself. Knowing clearly that Krishna's Gita was more vital than the war before him, Arjun said to his divine cousin, of those who worship you, Krishna, and those who worship the Parbrahm, who has the greater yoga? Krishna replied, those who worship me are the most perfect yogis, and those who restrain their senses, the serene, the compassionate to all beings, and worship the Parbrahm, they also come to me. But surely the task of these is harder, because the unmanifest Brahm is difficult for embodied beings to attain to. Have no doubt, Arjun, that I deliver my bhagats quickly from sansar, the sea of grief. Fix your mind on me, let your thoughts come to me, and in me you will live forever. If at first your mind wanders, meditate slowly on me by stages. If you cannot do this, act in my name. If this is also impossible, offer your life to me, whatever it is. Better than Gyan is Dhyan, but better than Dhyan is Bhakti, and surrender, then comes peace. Arjun gazed at Krishna with such absorption that the Lord ruffled his hair like a giant's. He who has no malice toward any creature, who is compassionate and friendly, free of egotism, always serene, he is my Bhagat. Dear to me, who does not shrink from the world, and from whom the world does not shrink, who is no slave to joy or sorrow, anger, fear, or agitation, he is dear to me. Who is pure with no expectations, skilled, serene, and has surrendered to me, he is my Bhagat, precious to me. Who is devoted, who does not rejoice or grieve, does not hate or lust, who has passed beyond good and evil, he is dear to me. Who is the same with an enemy and a friend, to slander and flame, in pain and pleasure, cold and heat, whose spirit is unattached, to whom praise and blame are one, who is content and tranquil, his speech controlled, his mind steady, who has no permanent dwelling, he is my Bhagat and dear to me. And dearest of all is he who surrenders to me in faith with all his heart. Thus spoke Shri Krishna. Let's end our reading here today. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much for listening.